morning and welcome back to Keep Moving at the Senior Center. I'm Amy Beck, the Director of Senior Services, and I have Jessica McNaught with me, who is the Assistant Director. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning, Amy. How are you today?
I'm just fine, thanks. You know, we have another great show. It is live this morning, so bear with us as we get things going. But I wanted to remind everyone that at the Senior Center, everything is up and running. If you have questions or would like to do things or want to come back and have activities, we've been going strong for well over a year now. And as always, the greatest source of information is our newsletter. You are either getting it in your mail. If you don't get it in the mail and want to get it online, you can certainly get it there. Or if you're not receiving it at all, please let us know and we'll certainly be able to get it to you. We are open Monday to Thursday, 8:30 to 4, and Friday, 8:30 to 2. If you have any questions about our program you'd like to join, or any questions or need any assistance, give us a call at 508-497-9730. But as always, Facebook, newsletter, website, information is out there as to what is happening here in Hopkinton, and we'd love to see you. Jessica, I know we have a few things coming up that you may want to share with people. What is going on currently?
Yes, thank you, Amy. So actually, I want to make two quick kind of announcements. The first being Monday, September 5th. We are closed for Labor Day. I don't want anyone to trek out here to take a yoga class or come for lunch and find our doors locked. So I just want to make sure people know we are closed on Labor Day. So that's the first announcement. And the second announcement, we get asked all the time, is it too late to sign up for an exercise class? Is it too late to join Canasta or to join an art program? And really our philosophy here is come in and start. Most of our programs are continuous and ongoing. So you can be a beginner in Zumba, be a beginner in yoga, be a beginner in Canasta, Mahjong, etc. And we will help you. There are some classes that it might be a little more difficult to be a beginner, like our French class. If you're wanting to take French, that can be a little tricky. But I don't want people to think like they missed their opportunity to participate. You can always jump in. Don't feel like you are disrupting the group by it being your first Zumba class or by it being the first time you come to a memory cafe or something like that. So always feel like you can come in. And if you're nervous, come in and talk with us. We are happy to kind of help introduce you to some of the other participants here. I promise everyone is incredibly nice. So I just want to say that because we're all at different parts coming out of COVID, and we may be just getting back into the world, and you are more than welcome to get back into things here. With that said, we have a couple of programs I want to highlight coming up. The first is next week we are having a memory cafe. Memory cafes are a great opportunity for individuals and caregivers living with memory impairments, cognitive issues, Alzheimer's, dementia, and related diseases to come out into a supportive environment and really connect with others. There's usually music, there's usually snacks. It's usually a really great opportunity for people to come out to a judgment-free activity. So I want to make sure people know about that. And then I want to talk very, very quickly about our Repair Cafe. Repair cafes are a movement all over Massachusetts, and Hopkinton is jumping on board. So the idea behind a Repair Cafe is we're bringing together the community, we're bringing together the idea of sustainability, and we're keeping things out of our landfills. So individuals that have broken clocks or garden shears that are maybe a little duller than you would like, a shaky leg on a chair, things like that, we are going to have volunteers that will be available to help assist fixing those things. And they fix those items alongside you so that maybe you learn a little bit too. And we keep things, again, out of the landfills. We're keeping our kind of turning our old stuff new again. So our repair cafe, the first repair cafe that Hopkinton is doing, is coming up on September 24th. It's a Saturday morning from 9 to noon. And we are currently still recruiting some volunteers. So if you are a handy person and you might be interested, please give us a call. If you know, I have a clock that doesn't work right, I have a lamp that's a little bit, the switch is a little bit bulky, give us a call now and we will add you to our list. You don't need to pre-register. You can certainly show up the day of, but giving us a little bit of a heads up, make sure we can have the volunteer expertise to fix that item. If we don't know that anybody has a broken lamp, we may not have someone that's readily available. But if you give us that call, we'll make every effort to find those volunteers. So again, we are very excited to bring this to the community. So there is definitely more information available in the center, online, in our newsletters. So certainly give us a call and check that out.
Jessica, let me just interrupt one
Yeah.
second on that. We are not repairing anything with gas or oil in it, so we will not be doing small engine repair. Sorry, we cannot help you with your lawnmowers.
No, that is a good point. Thank you, Amy. And then one other fun thing that I'm also recruiting people for is our variety show coming up in October. So if you have any type of hobby, whether it is singing, dancing, juggling, playing the air guitar, and you would like to be a performer, we are recruiting some performers for our variety show coming up in October. And I believe that will be on HCAM when it comes out. So you'll be at least famous locally. So please give us a call if you are interested in performing. Check out the newsletter for some upcoming dates for different rehearsals and activities going on related to that.
So famous or infamous, we're not sure which, but we hope you all take part. It is an exciting time. It has always been a big hit. We haven't had one for a couple of years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having everyone back together. And the nice thing is we will have people here who can watch you, but you can watch it from home too later on from HCAM. So we special thank you to HCAM for always helping share our activities with the greater community. So Jessica, is that what we have for now?
That is what we have for now. I don't want to spoil people's newsletter reading. I want to make sure that they're actively reading that newsletter to get all the rest of the good stuff we have coming out.
Great. So we have some guests with us this morning. We have Jim Nee, who is the administrator at the MWRTA, and John Featherston, who is the travel trainer with the MWRTA with us this morning. And so we are excited to know a little bit more about what's available to residents, seniors, especially senior residents in Hopkinton, and what options they have and how to go about it. But welcome both John and Jim. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are really glad to have you here this morning. And Jim, I know you're new to the MWRTA, not new to transportation, but new to our Metro West program.
That's correct. Yeah. Pleasure to be here. Really excited. Yeah, I've been in transportation for about 20 years. I actually lived in Hopkinton for a little while. My family, we moved around quite a bit. So when we came back to Massachusetts, which is where all of our family is from, we were looking for a place to stay, and we found a wonderful apartment in Hopkinton when we first moved back. But yeah, it's definitely a pleasure being here, and it's been very welcoming. So I appreciate you guys reaching out. It's fantastic to speak to you all.
Great. Well, thank you. You know, I always love to throw a question out to people when they first get here. And so you guys get to be the recipient of that. The real question this year or this month is, if you could travel anywhere, where would you want to go?
I can actually answer that pretty definitively without too much thought. My wife and I have been married for 10 years this coming October, and we haven't traveled too much. We've been on a cruise or two here or there and a couple of short local vacations, but for our 10th anniversary, I've been planning it in secret for the last year, and I just recently told my wife, so it's okay to share it with you all here. Going to Paris for a week in October, so very
Excellent.
much looking forward to that.
Oh, well, I'll have to talk to you afterwards because when you come back, because I'm trying to get over with my husband to a couple trips as well. So that one area I don't, well, we'll see. So anyway, John, what about you? Do you have a special place you'd love to go?
I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. I don't know that I'm ever going to have the opportunity because I hear it's a very long flight, but I am told it's a must-see destination. So it's on my bucket list.
Jessica, what about you?
All right. I feel like I would not be allowed to go home if I did not say I would love to travel to all of the international Disneys.
Well,
We frequent Florida a lot, but we have not made it overseas. I think that's the correct answer, actually.
So Jessica, you may need to talk to Jim at some point because isn't there one in France right now? Or
no,
That,
So there
that's
you
correct.
go.
The Disney castle is Belle's Castle there. I've been looking at that Disneyland. I don't know if we'll visit there, but it's definitely one of the possible destinations.
That's exciting.
And Amy, where would you like to travel?
Well, anyone who knows me, I was just in Scotland, so I would love to go back. But you know what? There are so many possibilities of other places that I want to go. And I'd say anywhere. I would go anywhere. I do know that my family is looking at Germany and Austria in the next year or so. But you know, and like I said, my trip to Scotland was amazing, so I'd love to go back there as well. So who knows what's next? Hopefully more travel, any place. Anyway, Jim and John, you know, we have a great partnership with the MWRTA. For many of you, you may know or you may not know that we do have a fixed route that comes through Hopkinton. It is a fixed route. It's a flag down service. So when the bus goes by, all you have to do is wave and they'll stop, is my understanding. But Jim and John, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what programs are available to Hopkinton residents, but particularly senior residents.
Sure. I'll jump on this and I'll pass it over to John to fill in the blanks after I'm done. But as you mentioned, we had that fixed route that runs through Hopkinton, the Route 5. It runs along 135. And anywhere that you have a fixed route, you have this thing called complimentary ADA paratransit, which basically is a corridor around the fixed route. And that corridor, it stretches out a certain number of quarter miles, and that ADA complimentary service is meant to be for anyone who couldn't ride the fixed route. So if there's a situation where someone couldn't get to the bus stop or they couldn't actually physically board the vehicle due to a disability or something like that, they'd become qualified for that service, and then they could take the complimentary ADA to make sure that that person has the full access to the same service as what that fixed route provides. We will often have members of the senior community who end up qualifying on the complimentary ADA paratransit service. Another key service that we have, and I know this is relatively new to Hopkinton, is Hopkinton has recently joined on with the MWRTA Dial-A-Ride program over the last year or so. I know that anytime you have a new program, it sometimes takes a little bit of time to catch on, but looks like over the last year, there's been about 1,100 trips on that program. And over the last several months, the trend has been up a little bit. It looks like, you know, for the next 12 months, we might be somewhere between 1,100 and 2,000. Forecasting exact numbers too far in advance is sometimes difficult, but it's definitely catching on. People seem to be utilizing that service. And those are some of the primary ones between the fixed route, the ADA, the demand response. I do believe there's COA trips available as well in Hopkinton. So there's a lot of transportation options. John, are there any other ones that I'm forgetting about?
Well, thank you, Jim. I mean, one of the big things to highlight what Jim just said is when people hear that they have these options, they have a lot of questions. And what we offer here at the MWRTA is one-on-one training. And a lot of times people will find after I spend a half hour or an hour with somebody, a lot of those questions go away real quick and it becomes a lot much easier to do. So with the help of Amy and Jessica, we can arrange, individual trainings. If people feel comfortable reaching out to me one-on-one, we can, do individual trainings. If you have a loved one or a family member that has some questions about transportation and you have questions about the unknowns, we can do that. We can work with advocates. We can work with family members as well too, to make sure that the training is being communicated. And that's the level of service that we provide here at the MWRTA, is that no question is a silly question. We're here to help. We're here to make those, unknowns go away. And you might find that, that you can ride the COA bus to our fixed route. Your fixed route can do other things, but then you also might find that, maybe we do need to talk about dial-a-ride opportunities and getting you placed into the system for the dial-a-ride. So we're just a phone call or an email away, and, we'll come right to you and provide that one-on-one service.
And John, you mentioned a good thing that we've talked about here before. Hopkinton, the senior center does offer transportation. We offer transportation to and from your home to the senior center. And so all you have to do is give us a call and get that opportunity. We do day trips as well. So there are options that we offer, but we're really grateful for partnering with the MWRTA because they do give us an opportunity to expand the services that we can do and bring it to you as a senior citizen or as a citizen of our community. And I know with the Dial-a-Ride program that has been with us since May of 21, you're right. We have definitely been utilizing it more. We send more people that way. But if you want to get involved with the Dial-a-Ride program, my understanding is we are taking the applications here. So you would give us a call, you would talk to our outreach team, which would be Kim or Julia, and many of you know them. And they could help you fill out an application, and then we send it on to the MWRTA. And they can then, that's where you would schedule those rides through them. But maybe, John, you could give us a little bit of an idea to our followers that how they go about it once they filled out an application, once they've gone through our senior center to help them fill out the application. What do they do to actually book the trip, and what is it going to look like for them when they make that? Because they're not going to call us for those rides.
Right. So that's a great question, Amy, and thank you for the question. So once the application is filled out and it comes to us, it does take a couple weeks, about 2 weeks to get through the process and get into the system. But once you're into the system, and if you want to go somewhere on Wednesday, you have to give us a call by 4 o'clock on Monday to let us know that you want to do a trip on Wednesday. Or if you want to go somewhere on Thursday, you have got to give us a call before 4 o'clock here on Tuesday. You'll call into our call center. I am a big fan of our call center. Our call center is great here. And once you start being a Dial-a-Ride member, you're going to feel like part of the family here. They go out of their way to be friendly, professional, courteous, offer you tips and training. It's just another service that we provide here. So you call 48 hours in advance of where you want to go. We book that ride. You tell us where you want to go. One of the big things that you have to do is you have to have the address of where you want to go. So if you just say, I want to go to, and I'm just throwing it out, I want to go to Market Basket, you do have to provide the address. Or, if you want to go to a doctor's appointment, you do have to give the call center an address so that we can book the ride. The night before, you will receive an automated phone call telling you what time you're going to be picked up, telling you what time your return trip is scheduled for as well. It's an automated call. So sometimes people don't recognize the number and sometimes they don't answer the number, but it's an important piece because it just confirms, what you booked the day before. So it's a real nice service. If you have any questions, you can always call in when you get that automated call. The next morning you can call in if there's a tweak or a change that you want to do. and you'll talk to somebody in our call center as well, and they'll work your way through the process. And and the other thing that, like I was saying before, is if you want somebody to go with you on that first time or something like that, you just reach out to me. We'll make arrangements that we can walk you through it. I can even go through the first process of making the first phone call with you. We're here to help, and we'll go above and beyond in any way to make all those questions go away.
And John really means that. John, he's been fantastic. He has set up numerous group sessions with Council on Agings and senior centers. He's done one-on-one trainings. That he really does go out there into the community, and he's been great helping people, especially learn about the services that we have.
So one question I know that people are asking is, what is the cost of all of this?
That is a great question. So fares were temporarily suspended during COVID-19. The advisory board for the MWRTA earlier this year reinstituted fares. So the policy has changed where fares have been reinstituted. But we have some new technology that's really interesting, both an app that people can use for different versions of our service, like the fixed route. And we have a service that's not currently in Hopkinton called Catch Connect that uses that application as well. It's a really interesting type of service. So with the new technology that we're deploying there, it's going to be really integral to collecting fares. So until that technology is fully done being installed, we're currently not collecting fares on our service. Generally speaking, though, it depends on a few things, exactly which service you're taking. If you're taking the fixed route versus demand response versus ADA. It also depends on, are you a senior? Are you a student? We have some of our services like the fixed route, you could buy a monthly pass that costs $20, and that will get you on all of our fixed routes, as many trips as you want in a month for $20. If you pay for an individual trip on a fixed route, it's $1.50. When we look at things like ADA, paratransit, and demand response, it's typically a bit less than that. You're right around 75 cents to $1 on most of those trips. And yeah, it does vary depending on your exact status and the exact service you're taking, but that's sort of the range we're talking about here.
So for a senior, they would have to be carrying cash with them for this, or is this something that they can pay in advance and have on account? Not all seniors would have the access of using apps or going on their phone to set that up. How would they go about that?
So as John mentioned, our call center is fantastic. They work with people to set up accounts in advance that they can do over the phone with them. You don't need to necessarily have cash in hand. You don't necessarily need to use an app or anything like that. They can work with you over the phone and figure that out. We have some people who will mail in a check so they have a balance, or they'll give a card over the phone. Then we have some people who use the app as well. There are countless ways. Our team will work with you, and they will find a way to make that work. On board certain vehicles and certain types, if, for example, you're on the fixed route, there are fare boxes on board where you could put your dollar in, and you could board that way as well if you had cash on hand in person. But for pre-scheduled trips like demand response for seniors and ADA paratransit, it's best to have that account set up in advance and to work with the call center to make sure that that's ready. But again, the payment type, we work with people. There are any number of ways to make that work, and I don't want to say we accept it all, because I'm sure there's something that I'm not thinking of. That everything you can probably think of, though, we accept.
Well, and the important thing to remember also is we have John over at the MWRTA who can walk you through that if you have a question how to do it. Even if you had a phone that you were able to do an app, I'm sure John could walk you through how to utilize that as well. So any questions, or if you have, I think the big takeaway is if you have questions, you're interested in checking it out, finding out more about it, you can start by giving us a call, and then we can help you through an application process. But then the MWRTA is very user-friendly and able to help you learn how to use the transportation programs that are available.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So if someone had a question, then they wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them? Is there a number that they call? If they, let's say they already have their application in, and they're ready to go, they want to make a call, what do they do?
So if it's sort of a general question, our general line is 508-935-2222. And it's a general MWRTA question, kind of not specific to one service or another. If we're talking about calling into the call center to talk to someone about demand response in particular, the number for that is 508-820-4650. And that will get you into our call center to talk to them about demand response. But that general number or that demand response number, those are probably two of your best sources. If we're looking for setting up individual travel training, you got into the system, but you're still not quite sure how that works, I think reaching out again to John would be one of your first steps there. John, what's the best way to reach you?
Once again, at that 508-935-2222. And then I'm at extension 7124. And you could also send me an email to John, Jon, Featherston, FETHERSTON @MWRTA.com. Or, if you want to give a call to the, also to the Hopkinton Senior Center, I'm sure Jessica or Amy would put me in touch with you ASAP as well too. So.
Right. And I know that our outreach team is always ready to help people with transportation options. And we have definitely, the people that are using the Dial-A-Ride program have been very happy with it. So I think it's great to know if you're uncertain, there are plenty of people who've tried it, and that they have gotten where they wanted to go very on time and in a very comfortable environment. So definitely give it a try. Give us a call at the Senior Center because we can certainly help you make those connections. Well, I know we're down to the end here this morning. I want to thank both Jim and John for coming on this morning and telling us a little bit more about the MWRTA. And again, if you have questions, give the Senior Center a call and we can help you get in touch with them. If there's any other thing that we are unable to answer, they know the answers. So again, thank you very much. And, as always, this is a great thing to remember as far as, keeping moving. We say that all the time. That's the name of the show. Keep moving with the Senior Center. Well, keep moving with the MWRTA and their programs as well. It's not just physically moving, but it's getting you from place to place as well. So thank you again, both of you. And thanks for coming and sharing with us the information. And we will see you all here at the Senior Center. Take care.